Sterigenics may have referred to the EPD's conclusion that the license request was complete. Chambers said in a written response to questions from Georgia and WebMD Health News. When asked about her opinion on the state approval resolution, Janet Rao, president of Stop Sterigenics Georgia, a nonprofit community action group, said there was a fine line between acting quickly and keeping the public informed. In response to questions from the WebMD and Georgia Health News about the opportunity for public comment on the permit application, EPD said the public can send their comments to secure email. In accordance with Rule 3913.01, Public Participation in Environmental Enforcement, the Environmental Protection Division is obliged to publish a public announcement and make comments. Before executing a consent order, there was no formal opportunity for the public to comment on the modernization plan or the approval of Sterigenics, said Emrys Treasure, father of 2 young children who live about a mile from Sterigenics. A review of the emails received under the Georgia's Open Records Act shows that on August 20, 2019, the EPD sent a draft consent order to Sterigenics at a community meeting in the Atlanta metro on Monday night. Officials and environmental agencies promised hundreds of residents concerned about the toxic pollution they wanted at least in the future to participate with the public. Philip McNabb, president of Sterigenics, had already promised at a recent meeting in Cobb County to take all the steps outlined in the proposed permit application to reduce potential emissions. Meanwhile, Kathy Hoffman, senior vice president of global environmental health and safety at Sterigenics, was authorized to review the project and make changes, a process that is not uncommon. EPD indicated that Sterigenics should have waited for a new permit to be issued before it could start installing the new green equipment without the approval decision. EPD cannot claim that it was not necessary to follow this standard because it was an emergency measure, because it was in force for a year, or because the measures would immediately focus on ongoing harmful releases, because it is not an immediate solution, and because the 30-day period for notification and consultation in parallel with Sterigenics efforts to start the licensing process could be continued, he said in an email. One of the few places where the SPD rejected Hoffman's amendment proposals was when the CEO of Sterigenics wanted to call the document an administrative agreement rather than a consent order. Kevin Chambers, Public Information Officer, Georgia Environmental Protection Division, Atlanta. 2. Georgia's SPU has issued a public statement stating that it has approved Sterigenics' plans to reduce ethylene oxide emissions at its Smyrna plant. Although the approval has not yet been fully revised, Sterigenics has been given the green light by government regulators to continue to build new environmental controls.